Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Amira, and in this video we're designing this cute brand identity from scratch. Together we'll design the logo, create the color palette, create the brand assets, and finally create those cute mockups. But first, let me give you a brief introduction to Bloom and Brew. Bloom and Brew is my dream flower cafe. It's a cozy coffee shop that combines the tranquility of nature and reading. The cafe interior features floral accents and greenery, so we'll make sure to create a color palette that complements this. Now let's create a logo concept that captures this vision. So first we'll look for a font that captures the vibe of this brand. We're going for a serif or a script-like font mainly. Now that I downloaded a bunch of fonts to try, I'm gonna create a new artboard to try them out. So I'll basically copy the same text several times, and next I'll try out each font and then decide which one looks best. Okay, they are a lot. Alright, so I really like this font so much. I'll definitely keep it for now. I'm not sure about the next two ones. I kinda like this one. I love this actually. Not the vibe we need. Okay, so I'll delete the first few ones. So on the right we have the candidates for the secondary font. The first one is out. Second and third one are cool. This one's out. I actually love this font. Those are the winners. Now we're gonna try out several logo concepts and see which one looks best. Okay, so now we arrived at the phase where I stare at the logo and start brainstorming ways to customize it. First of all, I want to join some of the letters together. It's an elegant serif font, but I want to make it a little like a script font by joining the letters and adding some swirls where they are needed. So as you can see, I first joined the two O's together. Next, I was thinking of removing those swirls on the O that came with the original font. It's kind of out of place and a little bit crowded, so I want to extend it to the bottom and make it end just a few pixels away from the letter. Next, I want to fill in the gap below bloom. I was thinking of illustrating a very minimalist flower or leaves in that space and join them with the letters, but the logo overall didn't look legible from afar. So I thought it would be a great idea if I actually extended a swirl from the B. Okay, fast forward to the final draft. It was hard to film the customization process because most of the time I'm just trying things out, trying to make it work, a lot of trial and error in between until I arrived at this one. So let me give you a quick breakdown of this logo. Since Bloom and Brew is a flower cafe, I had to incorporate the botanical element into this design. And I wanted to place a little leaf right above the serif of the M, and you can see that I had the shoulder of the M extended, that it ends up as a stem of the leaf. Now for the O, I filmed till the part where I extended the swash downward, but then I thought of drawing some leaves attached to it. For the B, extending the lower bowl of the B was such a great touch to fill up the bottom gap. You can see that I cut the part of the L using the offset path feature. I also thought it would look good if I extended another swirl on the left too. Now for the D, adding more leaves on the top of the ascending was actually a nice way of filling this gap. Honestly, this part was so satisfying to draw. Then I did the same thing for the R where the leaf sits on top of it. I wanted to do the same thing for the L, but it would look awkward because it would go above the cap line. I also created a little swash from the stroke of the M, and I truly like how it's parallel to the curve of the E. Also, at some point, I was trying to incorporate a minimalist flower somewhere dangling between the letters, but it looked really off, and I think it will be fine if I illustrated it elsewhere in the brand pattern, or maybe the favicon or some mark. And yeah, one last thing, I joined the letters E and W just to give the script font vibe. Now let's create the color palette. The color palette should reflect the brand personality, so it gotta be cheerful, light, and more bound to natural colors. So I'm using this site to swap between the palettes, and I finally arrived at this one. Is the one I was looking for. So back to Illustrator, after I created my palette, I was like, this is not gonna work. The colors felt too saturated and they're all bright that if any of those colors were the background color, the logo wouldn't be legible at all. So I had to change this up and I came up with this new palette. Next, using this palette, I created those logo variations and I seriously love the first one the most. You can see that I created the logo mark beneath using the two B's of the logo, And I also created the favicon using the bee of brew. Now let's start creating the brand illustrations and pattern. In a new artboard, I started by drawing those cute flowers and I sketched some cute illustrations like this cinnamon roll, a slice of cake, and a cup of tea. Now I'm gonna start outlining those sketches. I'll start with this cute cup. You can see that I'm definitely going for a quirky illustration style, not so minimalist and not quite 3D-ish. You will feel the vibe once I add the colors and the highlights. This cinnamon roll looks quite messy right now, but I promise we'll fix it later. Let's outline this glass of strawberry juice. Now I'm thinking of sketching a fluffy croissant as well. I hope I pronounced it right. Now let's illustrate the other part of this cafe, which is the reading corner. The bloom and brew not just stands for the flowers when they bloom, but also for the mind how it blooms when we pick up the habit of reading. And here I wanted to illustrate some books and maybe add a cup of coffee above them. I was thinking of naming the books one of Jane Austen's books like Emma or something. Won't do that, don't want to get in trouble. I was thinking of adding a flower as a bookmark, and I honestly love how it would combine the three themes together: coffee, reading, and flowers. Okay, look at this cute collection of illustrations. I added the highlights and some glaze to the cake and the cinnamon roll, the books. I even illustrated an open journal just to reinforce the theme of tranquility and mindfulness. I also drew this curly headed girl reading a book, and here's a cute cup of flowers as well. Now, on the right blank artboard, I'm gonna pull out the illustrations and make a cute pattern out of it. Okay, so I created this cute pattern, and now we're heading to incorporate this pattern into our mockups. So I'm using this site that offers ready-made Photoshop templates, and I'm looking for mockups that are related to coffee shops like paper cups, paper bags, sugar sachet, napkins, apron, etc. So here I downloaded this cute mockup and I want to see the dimensions of this sample so that I make sure I create a design that fits well. So back to Illustrator, I'm creating a new artboard with the same dimensions as that of the sample design. Now I'm gonna add the pattern we created earlier, then increase its size a little bit and lower the opacity. Next, I'm gonna grab that logo over the pattern and we're now ready to export it. Back to Photoshop, I'm gonna click on this layer. I've opened my design in a new tab and I'll select it, copy it, and then back on this tab, I'm gonna paste it. Now I'll click on save and going back to the original tab, you will find the mockup updated. Look how cute this is, but don't leave, we're not done here. Let's change the cap color. I'm thinking of trying purple or pistachio or sage green maybe. This looks so good. I also created other cute mockups using the same steps. And voila, let me present you Bloom and Brew. If you find this video helpful, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to watch more of my videos. Check out my Instagram account too, where I share snippets of my projects and other content too. Thank you so much for watching.